You're listening to East of the Rockies, the Michigan Student Softball Podcast on WCBN Sports.
Well, Mr. Burns had done it. The power plant had won it, with Roger Clemens clucking all the while. Mike Scioscia's tragic illness made us smile, while Wade Boggs lay unconscious on the barroom tile. We're talking softball, from Maine to San Diego, talking softball. Mattingly and Canseco, Ken Griffey's grotesquely swollen jaw, Steve Sachs and his running with the law. We're talking Homer, Ozzie and the Straw.
And we're going, coming at you live here tonight.
And we're going.
About 8 p.m. Thursday evening in the basement of the Student Activities Building. My name's Morris Fabry. Alongside me, across the glass, I guess, Kevin Klein and special guest Dalton Pataki. Recurring guest now. How you doing, Dalton?
Good. Back-to-back weeks. And once again, I just have to say that the intro, that song is just so good. And I don't know if you listened to last week's episode yet, Mo, but JP maybe proposed that you guys make your own version of that song, and I'm in.
Maybe we should outro with that.
What, like our
own
version?
Yeah, just a cappella.
Oh, I don't do a cappella.
I'm only doing this because kind of rushing to get things together. I don't have an outro song queued up, so I'm just gonna start.
Yeah, we could do that, or we could do any song a cappella.
Yeah. Well, you got any suggestions?
Living on a Prayer.
Oh, we could do that.
That could go bad, but we'll try it. Anyway, this is East of the Rockies. In case you couldn't tell by this point, it's a Michigan softball podcast.
I don't think you could.
Is this episode 9 or is this episode
10?
10?
Dude, come
we're
on,
in
get
double
with
digits.
us.
Jeez, I go away for a week and
LDS.
things
Just
change.
glad to be here for the golden anniversary.
Yeah, there you go. The 10th episode of East of the Rockies. Glad we've made it this far. In this episode, we're going to talk about Ohio State, we're going to talk about Michigan State, and we're going to talk a little bit about Maryland. We're going to have some fun along the way. We've got an interview with Thais Gonzalez. We were going to interview Kelly Christner, but things got a bit tied up, what with Big Ten student use fraction of a broadcasting crew. Kev had to do a major load. Wow, that was phrased weirdly. Had to carry a major load this week and had to clean up, and as such couldn't interview Kelly until next week. And so
we'll get her.
You could have sent me.
We could have sent
If you want a truly unique interview, you could have sent me.
Yeah.
It's not what the people want, but it's what they
the
deserve.
people need.
It's what they need.
They don't know they need it.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it next weekend. Anyway, as for this weekend, and the week that followed, Michigan started things off pretty well. Beat Ohio State in both games of a doubleheader, 7-2 and 8-4. Megan Betza and Tara Blanco both picked up wins on that series. Faith Canfield went 7 for 10 on the day. She was extraordinary. Aiden Falk continued her powerful streak. And then things went rather awry on Sunday. Michigan got shut out against the number 25 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes in Columbus. Got shut down by Ohio State pitcher Shelby McComb, 7 innings, only 3 hits for the Michigan offense. They struck out 10 times. Fortunately for the Wolverines, they turned things around in an away game at Alumni.
How many times have we said that ever?
Probably never. Some unusual circumstances, flooding down in the Red Cedar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but Michigan State is on the banks of the Red Cedar River, and it overflowed.
Seems like a lot more of Michigan State is on the banks of the Red Cedar
Than originally anticipated.
They were
for
probably
sure.
banking on having a field available this week, but
That's the Morris I miss.
yeah. Gone away for a week, but the pun reflexes are still there. So yeah,
Good.
Michigan 3-1. What are your guys' thoughts?
I mean, you look at it, and Canfield had a really nice day on Saturday. Aiden Falk has come to play. I mean, she's been so impressive this entire year. You think about the game yesterday, 2 for 3 with 2 RBI double in the first inning, and that is what set the tone against Michigan State, and it was a pretty close game. I mean, Michigan scratched across a few runs here and there, but it was a much closer game than the 5-1 score will tell you. And against Ohio State, that first day, I was so happy. You know, sweeping the doubleheader, going for the sweep, and then all of a sudden the Wolverines reverted back to some of the issues all year long. But I think, you know what, 3-1, especially 2 wins against a top 25 team. They don't fall in the rankings. I mean, I guess I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, if you go into that weekend saying that on Thursday, Michigan in the next 4 games go 3-1, I think no one would be too upset with that. It's like Kevin said, the way that they lost an absolute power outage on Sunday. I mean, not even power outage. There was just no hitting. 3 hits, I believe, on the day Sunday, and if Michigan goes out there and loses 5-4, you say, you know what, 1 on the road to a top 25 team, you're going to lose 1. But the fact that they go out there and look so bad doing it, that's the frustrating part.
I mean, it was very similar to that Kentucky game that you and I, Dalton, were covering. I mean, it was 5-1 game, but take away the Swearingen pinch hit home run, and it's a 5-0.
It's completely different.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally anemic. I'm surprised, though, that you guys are rather measured with your responses. Our podcast has been rather volatile, rising and falling with the fate of the team. I'm surprised I'm not hearing, panic-stricken reactions, given that we were all on the bowl.
Who would have thought I'd have come onto this podcast, and I would say I'd had some of the most rational takes last week.
Yeah, JP's not here.
I think I said 3-1 on the week. I think I said they drop 1 to Ohio State.
Now, however, Dalton, you did say that Michigan State was going to score 2 in the 6th to run rule Michigan State 9-0, and that did not happen.
That did not happen, no.
It was close. They were 1 big swing away from breaking things open.
The thing is,
you know what?
You look at Michigan's schedule, and they got 1 more bad loss in them. It's going to come. You don't know who it's going to come against, but if they can only lose 2 games in the Big Ten, Minnesota's got an equally weak schedule, but I like their chances. Still like their chances. I know I'm very bullish. I know I'm probably irrational, and I'm drinking that maize and blue Kool-Aid, but I just don't see this team losing more than 1 game against Maryland, a home game against Michigan State, maybe a loss at Wisconsin, but Indiana at home is fine. Western Michigan's fine, and then finish the year at Rutgers. I mean, #fence the garden, but I only see 1, maybe 2 losses in there.
How much do these losses to a team like, an Ohio State or maybe, say, a Wisconsin down the road, how much does that concern you as far as this team's outlook when all things are considered, in the regional and beyond?
I mean, it's concern, but I mean, this is a different team, so like we need to have different expectations. This team's not going to be that top 5 team, but it's a very good team. Look at Michigan's losses this year. They tied Florida State. They're currently number 1. Florida's 3. A&M has moved all the way up to 5 that they lost to. UCLA still 8. And the big one is Baylor's all the way up to 13. So that loss is looking not as bad as what we thought when they got shut out earlier in the year. So yeah, Michigan, yes, they have lost games, but they're still a very good team. They're still on the cusp of hosting a regional or not. And you look at the teams in front of them, Utah. I mean, Utah, yeah, they're a good squad. Are they that year in and year out competitor? I don't know. Maybe they drop out.
And you got to think, too, coming down the stretch, if Michigan can even just stay on that cusp, not have a complete collapse, you would think committees would look at the history of Michigan softball and what they've done in the past and award at least some extra consideration for a regional towards that.
Yeah, exactly. This is not like, oh, wow, Michigan the first, they're in the top 20 for the first time
An
since
upstart program.
Yeah, they're not, but and I think I read a stat the other day, and we can fact check it, but Michigan has finished in the top 20 of the AP rankings like 19 consecutive years. So crazy.
I mean, I'll believe that.
Yeah.
There's almost a statistic more than like 10 years and less than 20 years about Michigan softball dominance that I would believe.
Michigan has now beaten State 18 times in a row. Thank God.
Just like that. Like, I would believe that.
Did you know that Michigan hasn't...
You could have told me 35 times in a row and I'd believe that.
Did you know that Michigan hasn't lost a game in the past 20 years?
I mean,
that's
easily fact checkable. Sorry, I overstepped my bounds there. But
what you did. Okay,
back to reality, back to rational takes. I'm kind of
here. I got it. Hang on.
Go ahead.
every Michigan team since 95 has finished in the top 20 in the national polls. 14 of those teams have finished in the top 10. I mean, 95, I was born in 95. So 21 straight years in the top 20.
That's Red Wings-esque. And unlike the Red Wings, I don't see this streak coming to an end anytime soon. At least not in, drastic fashion. Bit topical, given that the NHL playoffs are tonight. But, again, with the reasonable takes, in the end, it doesn't really matter too much whether Michigan finishes as a top 3 team dominating all the competition that we see, or if they finish on the periphery of hosting a regional. I mean, we saw it last year. Florida was the best team in college softball last year, and where did that get them?
Yeah.
They lost to Georgia in a super regional, and their season was over just like that. Certainly, they were in an advantageous situation, but the margins of victory, the big wins during the regular season, they're good for positioning, but in the end, the record only matters so much.
And I'm convinced that if Michigan, no matter where they finish in the Big Ten, if they win the tournament, they will host a regional. Assuming they have like 3 losses in the Big Ten, say 3 losses, that would put them at 10 on the year, and win the tournament, they'll host a regional, 100%.
All right, so we've talked a bit about Ohio State. I don't know if there's that much to be said about it. They've got a very solid offense, the Buckeyes, and it is I think a testament to the skill of this Michigan rotation that they held the Buckeyes in check enough to win 2 games, as much as it is kind of a takeaway from the offense that they were held silent on Sunday. So 2-1, acceptable result, more or less.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason to fire up the hot take machine with this team's falling apart.
Hot take. What do you got? A hot take machine in the back room?
Of course,
fired up like a leaf blower.
No, I got it right in between the ears. And when she gets fired up, look out.
What self-respecting sports fan doesn't?
Exactly.
So we'll take it to Michigan State. That's a softball team on the rise. I'll say it right now. They're a young team. I thought they fought well against Michigan. Leah Forster, something special in center field.
Oh, I mean, she made 2 plays.
Unbelievable.
Both of them were great. The first one in the first inning to Rob Blanco of a double, and then in the 7th, a diving play moving to her left to Rob Richardson. I mean, it was fantastic. That Richardson one actually made top 10 on SportsCenter today.
Who was on that call in the background, Kevin?
I don't know. It sounded like a familiar voice. He seems like he's going places. It was pretty cool. I mean, you could kind of hear my voice behind Kevin Connors' voice on SportsCenter.
Yeah, Forster also hitting 417 on the season, still a junior. I think you were saying before the show, Kevin, only one senior on this Michigan State team.
Yeah, it's Gutnick. I mean, you think of Evelyn at third base, Ebony Eccles, who left the game injured. Hope she's okay, but she's in left field as a sophomore. Forster comes back. The one thing for them is just the rotation. It's not great. I mean, they give up runs. They're in the bottom 3 in opponent batting average in the Big Ten, in ERA in the Big Ten. And that's an issue, especially when you have to go up against offenses like Ohio State, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota. I mean, you're not going to win a lot of games in the Big Ten.
Yeah, so they're probably not taking anything off of Michigan this year, but do you guys think maybe it's a team that next year or the year after will be poised to finally end the losing streak in this rivalry? Hard to project that far.
I mean, because you don't know what kind of... Because it's more of a... I feel Hutch and Michigan getting worse than Michigan State getting better. It just depends on what kind of talent Hutch has coming in and how quickly that talent can develop. Because if you come in and you get a bunch of Natalie Peters, this Michigan team ain't going anywhere.
Next year, I mean, supposedly the recruiting class next year is unreal with 2 really good pitchers coming in. But you know what? Yesterday, it was funny because I just mentioned the pitching, but Betsa, going through the game until I looked at her final stat line, I was thinking to myself, Betsa really wasn't on yesterday, and she still tied a career high in strikeouts with 17. I mean, that's just how good she is.
Yeah, 147 innings pitched this season, 266 strikeouts. That's a ratio that's been about the same from the beginning of the season, and it's cartoonish, but that's just who she is at this point. 1.33 ERA, 15-6 win-loss record, something that's been, if anything, deflated by a lack of offensive support early on. She is something special, for sure. So bets electric against the Michigan State Spartans, who, as we said, came to Alumni Field due to a flood. Usually we do kind of like a walkthrough of the previous weekend and then a preview of the coming weeks, but we're going to insert a segment here, and it's going to be, which softball mascot are you taking to survive a flood? Because the Spartans, obviously, muscular, able to adapt to survive in start conditions, but not able to survive the flood and come to Alumni and win against the Wolverines. So what mascots might have been better served surviving that Red Cedar flood and, maybe winning at Alumni? I'm not connecting this very well, but this is thrown at me on short notice.
You know what? I will go with an unofficial mascot. The Dartmouth Big Green unofficial mascot, Keggy the Keg. All right? And this is the reasoning why, right? Because kegs, once you drink a keg, they float, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, it incentivizes you to participate in the drinking of the keg, and then you get to float to safety. It's a win-win all the way around the diamond. Yeah. I'm taking Keggy.
No one wants to go through a flood.
Honestly,
sober.
And you know what? Right now, everyone listening should Google Keggy the Keg, because he just looks like a fun guy.
Yeah. Dalton, which softball mascot, unofficial or official, are you taking to survive a flood?
Well, I mean, there's a few things that, they go back and forth, and you told me yours before the show, and
don't take this from me, Dalton.
I won't. I was gonna go the University of Maryland Baltimore County Retrievers. I was gonna go dog, but I assumed that the dogs, there would be an island in this flood, so I thought like spending time with a dog would be the best.
Yeah, it's reasonable, but not necessarily practical.
Yes. And then I got thinking.
Yeah.
I see those wheels turning.
Oh, the wheels are turning. I looked, there's no mascot. There's no college with a submarine mascot. A little disappointed. There's NCAA, there's a little money-making opportunity for you. Mm-hmm. Kev, were you going to say something?
I was just going to be like, at Kirby, whoever does that.
Are you looking to stall till you come up with a mascot, Dalton?
No.
Just walking us through your thought process?
Yeah.
All right.
Deliberately.
No submarines.
And then I started thinking about yours.
Sure.
And it made a lot of sense.
It does.
But I'm going to one-up you.
Sure.
Give me the Vikings.
Who are the Vikings? The Minnesota Vikings?
It's got to be NCAA, Dalton.
There has to be an NCAA Vikings.
All right, we'll get our stat boy on that.
All right, so Dalton is one-upping me. I was going to take the Seton Hall Pirates.
Cleveland State Vikings.
Oh, really? Because you would have, picked
ball game.
Yeah.
Throw the phone.
No, the Vikings kind of have me beat. I feel like Pirates are more advanced technologically than Vikings, so we'd be able to plunder your oarsmen and take your stuff.
It's a loyalty thing. Like, I feel Vikings are more men of honor.
I don't know if I could trust Seton Hall Pirates to lead me through a flood and, look out for me and all.
Seton Hall couldn't beat Michigan in basketball, so
yeah, I think I'd rather have Keggy the Keg as my companion in the flood than a Seton Hall.
You know what?
Pirate.
I'm gonna one up all you. I'm changing the rules real quick. We're gonna allow high schools, and I'm going the Francis Howell High School Vikings.
But they're still the Vikings. How is that?
I know.
One up?
Because it's a high school.
That seems like a one down.
It's
to me.
it's more unique. Shout out to Weldon Spring, Missouri. Francis Howell High School.
Weldon Spring. What up?
All right, this is a segment.
W-Town.
This segment has gone very well. I'm glad I inserted it in the middle of our talk. Speaking of things inserted into the middle of things, we had an interview this weekend. No, don't look at me that way. Oh, goodness. The phrasing is not on point today. But anyway, we're going to go in with an interview. We didn't get to interview Kelly Christner this week, but we did interview one of the freshmen,
Good
Thais
interview.
Gonzalez. It was a good interview, and we're going to play it for you right now.
All right. So first of all, describe your recruitment. You came here out of SEC country. What drew you to Michigan specifically?
Well, it was really just the sort of attitude of the coaches, I would say. they just kind of have this work ethic and toughness about them that I was really drawn to. And that was just definitely something I wanted to be a part of, even though I had to sacrifice some warm weather.
Yeah, for sure. What other schools were recruiting you throughout that process?
Some schools in the Northeast, Boston University, Boston College, some Ivy League schools. I'm really academics is a huge point for me, so Michigan definitely was a top contender with that as well.
Yeah, I was actually just about to ask you about that. So you were the valedictorian, I was told, in high school?
Not quite.
Not
close,
quite. A distinguished scholar, nonetheless.
Yeah.
So what are your academic plans here at Michigan?
I'm a preferred admit to the Ross School of Business, and so I'd like to continue along that track and end up with my BBA here.
How's freshman year going so far in that department?
It's going well. It's been a nice adjustment, just taking different classes, exploring all the different options they have here. It's been really exciting.
Good to hear. So who's your backside on the team this year?
Lindsay Montemarano.
Oh, solid. What kinds of things have you learned from her?
Lindsay, she just comes every game with great energy. She's very confident, and she has a very team attitude about her. We've been focusing a lot about doing it for us, and Lindsay she sort of embodies that, and she's really taught me how to be there for my teammates.
All right. So, being behind such an established outfield, you spent most of your time coming off the bench when you've gotten playing time. Has that been an adjustment for you? Has that been difficult at all?
It's really it's important. I've learned it's important to stay involved in every single pitch, and really, if I'm not contributing on the field, to make sure that I'm contributing in the dugout, just so I'm prepared for that moment where I can come in to pinch run or pinch hit or whatever it need be. So it's just really playing with my teammates rather than just taking a sitting down role. For sure.
Has that come easily to you, or?
Obviously, as a competitor, you want to be out there, so it's not easy, but it's something that I think every athlete's willing to do for their team.
All right, good to hear. So you're a slap hitter. When did you start to be a slapper, I guess?
Started, I believe it was when I was 13 or 14 years old. I just jumped right in, and I switched from being a righty to a lefty, and it's one of the best decisions I've made, I think, with what it's done for my game. I think it just provides so many options, whether I want to go third, bunt, slap, hit away now. It's a lot of fun.
How, if at all, have you evolved as a slapper since coming here?
I think I've evolved with Bonnie. She's definitely given me a lot of more tools to work with regards to just having more finesse with my slap, and just being able to have so much back control and just know what I want to do with every single pitch.
All right. So, in addition to pinch hitting, when you get to hit, you also get brought in as a pinch runner every now and then. Where would you say you rank on the team as far as speed's concerned?
As far as speed, I think with our slapping group, we're all within steps of each other. So Nat, Nikki, and we've got some righties that'll hustle to it. Kelly, she's definitely got some hustle with her, and so it's tough to say. It would definitely be a competitive race.
All right, who's the fastest runner on the team, if you had to name one?
Had to name one. Nat's just very quick.
Yeah, I'd probably agree.
Mm-hmm.
So Thais is the pronunciation is not exactly intuitive.
Right.
What's the worst mispronunciation you've heard since coming here, or ever?
Ever? People like to throw R's in there, and I get a lot of Tyrese's more than I'd expect. But the most common, I think, is Theus. The H gets people.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's probably what I would have gone with if not for the handy-dandy website. So last question I have for you is one that I've asked every player I've talked to, and that is an answer to a debate we have on our podcast. But is a hot dog a sandwich?
Wow. I wouldn't call it a sandwich. I think the hot dog has been around long enough to deserve its own little section in the food community, and I wouldn't put it under the umbrella of a sandwich.
Seems like a well-reasoned answer, even if I disagree. All right, we're good.
Alrighty, awesome. Thank you very much.
Pleasure talking to you.
And that was Thais Gonzalez. what I meant by the phrasing is that I was inserting something into this podcast without a segue before we
You
move on
were
any
sitting on
further.
that the entire time that everyone was playing, just thinking.
I was stewing over it, man. We try to keep this podcast PG. And I can't help where your guys' minds go.
But to the Thais Gonzalez interview, I like her answer. The hot dog has earned it.
I mean, we've asked, I don't know, probably 15 players, and usually it's just yes, no. Thais Gonzalez, she reasons.
She has
okay?
passion.
That is why she's a pre-admit into the Ross School of Business.
Yeah, I was
good for her.
I was told by one of the Daily folks that she was like the valedictorian, and they were wrong. They misled
You know
me.
why? Hashtag sabotage.
Hashtag fake news.
Alternative facts.
I'll toss that on the Daily. Don't think I won't.
Interesting that she and Montemarano were backsides. I feel like usually those pairings kind of go along similar positional areas, and
because of how much experience you have pairing like softball players together as backsides.
Yeah, exactly. Based on my experience as a college softball, I feel like I'm taking too much guff this podcast.
I like it. You know what? All through, I don't think there's been one episode. There was one episode we were really hard on JP. This episode we're being pretty hard on Mo.
I think it's probably warranted.
You know
I missed
why?
a week.
I think I'm.
Yeah, you can't miss a week and then come back and be all sloppy.
Yeah, I've been here 10 out of 10 times. I'm batting 1,000.
How about this? For the segments that will follow this, instead of talking about softball, I'll just brag about things I did in Europe.
Okay.
Will that help?
Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
I think for the listeners, they'll just skip past the part you talk, but
Well, that's difficult. You have to hit like the fast forward 15. It's not that easy.
It's not that
Hopefully.
easy.
Hopefully.
watch me.
All right, so moving forward, the Wolverines will play the Maryland Terrapins. They're heading out to College Park. Unfortunately, we won't be sending anyone out there to cover that game because it is in the heat of finals season, and I, as the lone non-student member of CBN, will be busy getting my life together. But the Wolverines probably expected to sweep this Maryland team, which is at 8-28-1 on the season. Out of those 2 wins, though, out of those 8 wins, 2 have come against the likes of Florida and Missouri. What are your expectations coming into this weekend?
Michigan has to blow the doors off them.
3-run rules. It needs to be. It won't be though. It'll be 2-run rules and a close one.
Like a nice 3-1 ball game where like Maryland scores first.
Yeah, Maryland scores like one run in the bottom of the 6th. You're like, oh man, here we go. And then like a 3-run Blanco home run. I'm calling that. Might as well call it while I'm at it.
A 3-run Blanco home run. That's your
3-1 Sunday finale. Michigan wins. 3-run Blanco home run. Top of the 7th.
Top of the 7th.
And if that happens,
when all hope is lost,
for some ungodly reason that happens, like
send us $1.
Send you $1?
Well,
no, the podcast.
The podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Fund Kevin's gift for predictions.
Just Venmo me at Kevin Klein. I think it's at Kevin-Klein.
Yeah,
I'll check that too. I don't
we'll
need
see.
other
We'll
Kevin
see.
Kleins reaping my benefits.
I don't know if we're eligible for that as broadcaster students. Might
be students in a little bit, so just hold off on the Venmo
Yeah,
request.
you're right. Venmo me on the 29th. That's when we graduate.
At like noon.
All right, so what are some other things you're looking for out of Michigan this weekend in a series that they should, win via run rule at least a couple times?
Will. I mean, this just has. It has. How many different ways can we cut this to say that Michigan needs to go 3-0 and they need to win big? Because Maryland is not good. I mean, I try to be nice, but they're just not good. They got lucky against Florida. They got lucky against Mizzou. They tied Dartmouth, and I know now for some reason we've mentioned Dartmouth on this podcast
A few
twice.
times.
Dartmouth is 6-21-1, so they're equally bad. This needs to be a run rule victory, and you know what? The offense is capable of doing it. I mean, we saw what they did against Ohio State, and by no stretch of the imagination, Maryland has a worse pitching staff than Ohio State.
90% of the opponents Michigan will face.
Yeah. If Thais had mentioned, she was probably recruited to Dartmouth, given that she had a 5.0 GPA in high school, so that could
Good
have
for
made
her.
her 3 times. Yeah, she's got her act together.
She knows what she's doing.
You know what? No,
Then you look at dudes like me.
That's why we're doing the podcast and they're out there.
But
making the
seriously,
headlines.
the Daily, tells you some information that you couldn't fact check. Like, you should have said in the interview, like, oh, this is what the Michigan Daily told me.
We're not trying to start any fights. We're already
I
being
know.
confrontational enough, but that's neither.
Sorry,
here
I mean,
nor there.
it was a very heated day
Segments
for me and Mo.
We're going on to segments. The first segment, just a suggestion. It can be anything softball related, something you'd suggest to some party involved in Michigan's, I guess, last week or so or upcoming week. We'll start on whoever wants to go first on that side of the glass.
I'll take this one.
Just a suggestion.
At Michigan State, get a better draining system. I mean, come on. Every time it just sprinkles, the red cedar overflows the baseball and softball complex.
Huh?
Can they not get a better location or a better draining system, or just some of those big hoses that suck a bunch of water out? They need a big giant shop vac. Or isn't that what they're called?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or just a bucket.
A
A bucket and some hard work.
I'm not gonna make fun of like other people's like hindrances, so I'm gonna stay away from another school. Hey, at NCAA, let props back in the dugout. Please.
Do they bar those?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Please let. I mean, softball. What makes softball so much better than its college counterpart, baseball, is softball is fun. Like. It is. Like, I mean, the games are short, especially when you follow a team like Michigan when they're good. I mean, everyone's having fun out there. Let the props back in the dugout.
Yeah.
How many other sports does a player's teammates sing their walk-up song when it's not playing over the loudspeaker?
Exactly. It's fun.
That is a great
So,
suggestion.
at NCAA, just a suggestion.
All right. I didn't do much planning for this, but I guess my suggestion would be at Aiden Falk, hit more home runs. You know, she's got
There you go.
14 doubles, leading the team in doubles on the season. Already got
Just
plenty
a
of RBI and plenty of power numbers. But, you know, maybe hit a few more over the
So
fence
you're saying,
instead of
like,
having to leg it out and getting pinch run for. She'll score more runs. She's only got 12 runs, and that's not at all a mark against her in any way. But, you know, maybe just hit a few more out of the park. I guess I could gear that toward the entire team. You know, just hit a few more home runs. Just a suggestion.
Make her life easier. Make our lives easier. I would definitely have less. My blood pressure would be lower.
At Megan Betza, just a suggestion. If you just struck out every person that hit an RBI against you, you wouldn't give up any runs.
That's another good one.
Just a suggestion.
I feel like this is kind of a one-off of a segment.
You know, I will say, because Student U did do the game yesterday, and Leo Blavin, WCBN's own Leo Blavin, was doing the dugout camera on the first base side. 2 foul balls were coming real close to him, and he didn't even stick out his hand or anything. Come on, at Leo Blavin.
Just a suggestion.
Bring your mitt when you're covering softball and you're going to be the dugout cam.
Yeah, or you know, just go bare hand. Go big or go home.
Yeah, you go bare hand and nab that thing, you're a hero.
Honestly, if people can grab a baseball, like a foul ball baseball, barehanded, and save their beer, Leo can do it with the softball and save the camera.
Nothing ticks me off more there are things that tick me off more, but it ticks me off every time I see someone in the crowd shy away from a foul ball. This is your chance.
Wear it.
In the spotlight. This is your shot at glory.
I don't
At
care
least try to catch it. It's not coming in that hot. You know, you got players on the field.
Okay, it's coming in hot, dude.
Well, for the most part, especially with that protective netting there, you got players on the field who are wearing, you know, hit by pitches coming in at 70 miles an hour from like 40 feet away or whatever. The least you can do is make a stab at a foul ball. Come on. That is
just a suggestion.
Just a suggestion. Live a little if you're in the crowd.
Should Alumni Field...
What?
I mean, this is actually maybe an idea for any like baseball, softball complex. Hire people to sit in the stands that are expert foul ball catchers.
What, to protect people?
That
Just to put on a show?
and the Sports Center top 10s.
Oh.
A little more exposure to the program.
So I mean, I think we all have season credentials for the WCBN for softball. So you're saying people would have season credentials saying like expert foul ball catcher, like let me in?
Yes.
He's not an expert. He's not in charge. It's just a suggestion.
Just a suggestion.
I like this segment. This has to be recurring. I like this is coming back.
Yeah,
in future
this is a good
episodes.
one.
All right, fine then. Next segment. Best thing we saw this week. There's a pretty obvious candidate here. We'll go to whoever wants to go first.
My favorite thing was that Megan Betts a wild pitch yesterday. I mean, I can't remember what inning it was. It was like the 4th or 5th inning, and no one was on base. I can't even remember who it was against. I don't remember very much from this play. I just remember that Megan Betsa, she threw it. It was a right-handed batter. She threw it in the left-handed batter's box, probably 4 feet over Katie Alexander's head. Like, seriously, it was awesome. And she, like, obviously laughed it right off. But yeah, I was laughing. I was in the booth. I was still cracking up.
What was the question again? The best
thing we saw this week.
Honestly, the pictures of the flooding at Michigan State, weather like fascinates me, and extreme weather especially.
Whether it's good or not.
Yeah, very good. Your pun, very good.
Yeah.
That's 2 of them so far. If you're keeping count at home.
I think there's maybe been 3 or 4, but
You'll catch on to them when you listen to it back.
But no, it was like literal feet of standing water. That's amazing. So extreme weather fascinates me. You mix that in with a little bit of softball storylines on a softball podcast. That's the best thing I saw.
Honestly, you know what? If Jackie Joseph wanted to instill some toughness on the rest of the team, make the team during one of the practices. Yeah, we're not taking batting practice. We're dumping water out in buckets out of the stadium.
Hey,
Just a suggestion. I know I'm going back to the previous segment, but
builds character, bonding experience.
Yeah.
Best thing I saw this week was Leah Forster in center field. Unfortunately, actually the best thing I saw this week was probably the Picasso Museum in Paris, because that's where I was while you schmucks were in Ann Arbor watching softball and stuff.
Nice.
But outside of that, I only got to see one softball game because, I was overseas in London and Paris.
Okay, cool, dude.
Awesome
We
cities.
get it.
But
You're cultured now.
Yep, I am incredibly cultured. But yeah, Leah Forster, incredible catch to Rob Searich, great catch to Rob Terrablanco. She's a defensive wizard. I guess which would be the correct term, but I look forward to seeing her. Yeah, I guess.
Or I guess
Hard
Princess?
no.
I'm not very good on my whole magistry,
That
like-
doesn't fall into the whole
No, I think it's
magical
witch
terminology.
wizard.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but witch kind of has like a negative connotation. I feel
Yeah.
just because it's got the connotation out of like Harry Potter, but it's also got like the 1600s sort of connotation.
I think Wiccan would be safe.
I don't know. We'll disregard all of that. Anyway, she was very good on defense. And is an excellent player, and glad to see her at Alumni Field, and I look forward to seeing her next week as well, because she is fun to watch.
So do you want to know the difference between a Wiccan and a witch?
Wiccans don't actually have power, do they?
Wiccans use their third eye sense, and they can predict stuff that happens around them. Like, they can predict in the future, like...
she's a Wiccan.
Yeah, there you go.
Because she can predict
Yeah,
where the ball's
She knew
gonna
where
be
that
hit.
ball was going.
fair enough.
Knew it.
See, glad we checked that before we were incorrect on the pod.
Yeah,
Knew it.
the one fact check that we actually get to execute.
The difference between a Wiccan and a witch.
Now we know.
Podcast. Softball.
Yeah, back to that. What hurts the most? What's the worst thing that we saw this week?
Did you cue up the song by Rascal Flatts, like, what hurts the most?
Well, I'm glad that you've at least got the acapella
Was
juices
being
flowing.
so close.
I've got nothing queued up, Kevin. I'm sorry.
Does no one else know that song?
I don't
And
even
having
know.
so much to say. Oh, yeah. I
Damn.
know Rascal.
Damn, I like having Dalton next to me, man.
Save it for living on a prayer, though.
No, I mean, you know what? That scoreless streak coming to an end really hurt me. What was Megan Betsa doing on Saturday? Giving up 2 whole runs to a really good offense.
Yeah. What the heck?
What's wrong with her?
Darn it.
Wow. The censorship. It's palpable at this point. I can taste it.
The freaking FCC. Actually,
Yeah.
we're probably not even under that.
No,
are
we can say whatever we want.
Yeah, but,
We're going for a family podcast.
I mean, no, this is something that you
Morris.
like. You make a nice bonfire in the backyard, and you queue up east of the Rockies.
Yeah.
You have some
EOTR.
marshmallows, some s'mores.
That sounds about ideal.
That is
especially
what-
now that the weather's turning.
That is how I envision every listener.
You know what?
listening to our
Interact with us
podcast.
on Twitter at WCBN Sports. Tell us how you listen to the podcast.
Yeah, and email us. No, I'll even give you a better idea, Dalton. Email us at
EOTRpod
That's the one.
at gmail.com or something like that.
No, that's it. EOTAR.
Yeah,
Damn, I'm
pod
having
at
a
gmail.com.
real tough time.
JP's usually got that better. But he's got the address down.
Yeah.
But he's not here because he's not really dedicated to the cause.
No, he's dedicated to a hockey team in Toronto.
But we have Dalton here, and so I'm grateful for that. Worst thing I saw this week, probably JP not being on this pod. I'll keep it frank.
No, that's the best thing for me. At
Shots fired.
JP.
Shots fired.
Just a suggestion.
Just a
Don't come back.
All right, moving on. Last segment, I guess, Turtle Talk.
Yes.
So I think this is Dalton's idea, as you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to name the slowest Maryland player, because turtles are slow, I presume, based only off of their name, given how little scouting experience we have on this team. So I'll go first. My slowest player will be Jordan Augenbaugh. Oh, did I take it from both of you?
That's the odds-on favorite.
Oh,
But go on. You can
right.
probably explain why
I mean,
better.
she's just going to be weighed down by all of the vowels in her name. You got
A lot of vowels.
2 sets of A's.
Also-
that's just...
Also, you know what's really going to weigh her down is because there are 2 times in her last name that it goes GH. Both the times, different pronunciations.
Yeah.
Augenbaugh.
Yeah, you got to deal with both of that. She's also out of Port Tobacco, Maryland, and I know smoking.
Smokers aren't good runners.
Yeah, there you go. So,
Smokers aren't good runners.
even though she is an infielder and thus probably pretty quick, I'm going with Jordan Augenbaugh, and I'm sorry for taking that from you. You guys can still go with her.
No, that's no fun.
Fair. All right.
No, take it, Tom.
I am recalibrate.
I am so caught off guard right now. Like, I'm just searching the roster for
pitcher
anything.
/ infielder, sophomore out of Frederick, Maryland, Sammy Main, number 7, football number. That's a that's a fast
Quarterback,
number.
Yeah. Oh, 7. Well, we're going slowest though.
Yeah, but softball,
Oh.
baseball, that's a slow number.
Seven's a slow number?
7's a slow number. They hit a lot of home runs, thus they like to trot, not having to work on their speed. They could have good speed, but I think 7, it really prompts laziness.
Yeah. No, I
So
see
it's out of a work ethic thing.
I see nothing wrong
Like
with
if
that
she's
reasoning.
running a 40, like trying hard, she's not the slowest on the team, but
in general, you put on that number 7, you know what comes
You
with
know
it.
what?
yeah,
I'm going to go with a fast turtle or tortoise if you prefer. I'm going with Ari Jarvis.
oh, that's the fastest name on the roster.
Well, yeah, and you know why else she's fast? Because she went to Foothill High School.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Nice, yeah. So Ari
What-
Jarvis, even though she's a sophomore pitcher, the fastest runner on this team based on her name.
And she probably ran all the way from Tustin, California to get to College Park.
Hustling from Tustin.
Nice.
Yep, that.
All right.
I think that's number 4.
I don't even know if that's a punt.
There's another
It's just
Tustin
a
girl
run.
on here. I just saw it.
Yeah, well,
Andy Jarvis.
You're
They're
Tustin-
probably related.
you're,
Really? You think? I didn't even see Andy Jarvis. Oh, well, I guess Andy, same type of thing.
Andy and Ari,
Wait, they're both sophomores. I bet they're
twins.
You think they're twins?
You guys are testing my patience here.
Oh,
Yes.
that is
Moving on.
That's so sweet.
That is brutal.
Moving
That's
on.
sweet.
Final segment, the usual. One thing I learned, one thing I still want to know. We'll start on that side of the glass because I can send things that way because I'm the host.
You want me to take this first?
Yeah.
One thing I really want to know, how long would it take a turtle to get from Ann Arbor to College Park? Because seriously, like, if Maryland's teams, their sport teams, were actually turtles, it would be a lot of travel for a turtle. Like, you would have to leave like a month in advance. What if they're traveling out to Iowa? You know they don't got good highways out in Iowa. Would be going on urban dirt roads, rural roads.
To be fair, they might be better served in case of a flood, though, than a Spartan, perhaps.
I'm just saying, like, that would be a really interesting hypothetical situation.
True. All right, so that's one thing you want to know.
One thing I did
what's
learn?
one thing you learn?
I learned that there's a very good probability and a very good chance that Maryland has a set of twins on their team.
That is a fun one.
However, if Andy Jarvis and Ari Jarvis are not actually twins and they just have the same last name,
Recruited
same
to Maryland
year,
out of Tustin, California.
same hometown and high school, like damn, what a coinky dink.
Yeah, that would be pretty incredible.
Then a big shout out to Julie Wright, the head coach, for being able to recruit that type of
building a
that combination.
Dynasty of
Yeah, I don't know.
Jarvises? It's probably just Jarvises.
Jarvi.
Jarvi?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go with Jarvi.
We looked it up before this.
I'll go next. One thing I learned about Dartmouth's unofficial mascot, Keggy the Keg.
Love Keggy.
One thing I want to know, I guess, is who would win in a fight between Pirates and Vikings.
Oh, Vikings, dude.
Viking. The long stick. Oh, cannons, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The technological advancements.
Yeah, but
swifter in the water.
Do Vikings, do they throw spears?
No, I think they just like bludgeon people and stuff.
They have like those long sticks with the
They got
spikes.
oars. They
That
can
would
like
be a
bat
spear,
people
wouldn't it?
aside with
Oh.
oars. You know, Vikings. We build up them in our mythos, but would they really be equipped to deal with 1700s pirates? There's a reason you don't see any Vikings walking around anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, yes. There's a reason you don't see dinosaurs walking around anymore.
There's a reason you don't see
Alligators
pirates
or
walking around anymore.
dinosaurs.
I actually took the dinosaurs class here, and I couldn't tell you like one thing. I wanted to learn about like T-Rexes. We didn't learn anything about T-Rexes.
Oh, no.
Like we learned about plate tectonics. Like I need T-Rexes and Velociraptors ASAP. Sorry, that was quite a side. That was quite a sidebar.
That's fair.
You did both yours?
I did both of mine.
Something I learned, just did a little bit of math. It would take 6.8 days for a turtle to travel from Maryland to Ann Arbor.
I am so happy you're on this podcast.
Just did a little bit of math. So something I just learned, how long it would take a turtle to go from College Park to Ann Arbor. And something I still don't know is how is the NCAA so against having fun?
Something we may never know.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take it out with an a cappella rendition of Living on a Prayer. So I guess I'll start with the little bass line.
All right.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Come on.
I don't know when to come in.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'm looking up the song right now because
Tommy used to work on the docks. Union's been on strike. He's down on his luck. It's tough.
It's tough.
So tough.
All right, we got to keep our day jobs. I'm done with this. We're done. Thanks for listening.
That was so bad.
Good night. Go Blue. That was not a mistake. That was fun. It was fun. Can we agree? It was fun?
Yeah.
All right, let's never speak of it again.
All right. Fun.
All right.